to welcome you today and thank you for joining us for our Spotlight on Careers event. This is a Spotlight on Construction. The Spotlight on Construction is normally an in-person event that we would be doing over at Sask Polytech and visiting a construction site, and unfortunately we can't do that these days, but we're really excited that we have a lot of community partners who are joining us today to talk about these career paths in Saskatchewan construction industry and what becoming a tradesperson in Saskatchewan is all about. So just trying to share my next slide. There we go. This is a little look at what today is going to look like. So we have a lot of people joining us today, as you can see, and we're hoping that this is going to take under an hour. So we hope it's a good way of spending your hour today. So Mark Cooper is going to be joining us in a little bit here to talk about the Saskatchewan construction industry. We have a great event with some tradespeople who are going to have a little Q&A session that's going to be moderated by Amy Andrew from Saskatoon Construction Association. We are going to have some safety information from Mike Moore from the SCSA. We're happy that Cheryl and Ryan from Sask Poly are joining us because in a spotlight event, we always want to give some post-secondary information to students. We're also happy to have Samantha from the Saskatchewan Youth Apprenticeship to talk about those opportunities for students in our province. And Megan from our SIEC office is going to talk about the very exciting Summer Youth Internship program at the end. So we got an action-packed agenda today. Just a little bit about the SIEC for those of you who are new to learning about us. We are a group in Saskatoon here that provides career development and discovery opportunities for young people, educators, and career practitioners through our programming. We're a nonprofit, and we work with very closely with these wonderful education partners that you see at the bottom of this slide. Saskatoon Public Schools, Greater Saskatoon Catholic Schools, Prairie Spirit School Division, and the Saskatoon Tribal Council. And last year, check out these stats. We worked with 30,000 youth, 1,600 educators and career practitioners, over 1,000 businesses and post-secondary representatives, and we worked on co-creating over 40 programs and events. We're excited today that we could move this event online with the help of our partners. For the students here and some of the teachers who are joining us as well, I just wanted to give a very quick overview of some of our programs. And if you have any questions about these, please ask or contact me afterwards. As I mentioned, Megan is going to talk about our Summer Youth Internship program a little bit later on today, so I won't get too much into it, but I just want to remind you what an awesome opportunity this is, and our deadline for this program is coming up next week, so we hope our students are going to check that out. Samantha is here also to talk about Saskatchewan Youth Apprenticeship, but I did want to mention that one of the new things we've done is we've moved a lot of programming online, is that the SIEC is able to support students who are working through the SYA Passport program. So you can see a website address there, and you can just go to our website anytime and contact Megan, and she can help support you or get you started with this awesome opportunity that you'll hear about more later today. We also have a safety at work program. So students, if you're looking to beef up your resume before you get on a job site, having the safety training is one excellent way of doing that. Again, you can go to our website and check out all of the safety programs that we can support you with. And again, you can contact Megan and get some more information about that. And students, if you're looking at getting into the jobs and getting into the trades, if you need help just getting work ready, getting into a position where you're able to get a job, we're here to help you. So we have some great resources for resume and cover letters and job interviews and things like that. You can even submit a resume to us online, and we will provide feedback one-on-one with you. We'll even do a practice job interview with you, because practice makes perfect for those things that can be a little intimidating for some people sometimes. So check out the website for that. We always love highlighting our Relevance magazine, just covering the career journeys of young people in Saskatchewan, including tradespeople, and learning about the opportunities and prospects in our province. Teachers who are with us today, make sure you check out the classroom and discussion guide that you can use to help your students through that magazine that is available online luckily nowadays, since you might not have the paper copies from your school. And always, we want to mention our website is saskatooniec.ca, and you can follow us on those 3 social media channels there at Saskatoon IEC as well. So contact us anytime, and we'll be happy to connect with you. Really want to thank our community partners for putting this, helping put this together today, to move this into an online format. Saskatoon Construction Association, Amy, thanks so much. Our Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association, Sask Polytech, WorkSafe Sask, the Apprenticeship and Trade Certification Commission with SYA, and Saskatchewan Construction Association as well. We want to thank everybody for being involved with this. And also our panelists that Amy is going to work with for giving up some time today from their work with their businesses. We really appreciate that as well. So with that, we're going to get going. So for a bit of an introduction and overview about the construction industry in Saskatchewan, I'm going to ask Mark Cooper to share an introduction with you, and we will really get our event started. So Mark, thanks for being with us today, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, Darren, and thank you to everyone for participating today in this fantastic discussion about why careers in construction may be a good choice for you. You know, there are about 9,000 companies in Saskatchewan that work in construction right now, and they employ about 55,000 workers, which makes construction the 2nd largest private sector employer in the province, behind only retail. And those workers are well trained, they're safe, they're highly skilled, and they're well paid. They do important work that makes a difference in their communities. They get lots of opportunity to grow and advance in their career, and they leave a permanent record of their contributions on the skylines of the towns and cities in which we live. So that's why I'm excited about careers in construction. My job, I'm Mark Cooper, I'm the president and CEO of the Saskatchewan Construction Association, and my job every day is to tell people how awesome construction is and why they should pursue careers in construction, or why they should be working with construction companies, or why the work that construction does really matters to our daily lives. So today I want to talk to you very briefly about a few reasons why I think you should choose a career in construction. And there's 4 reasons that I really want to discuss with you today. The first, it's a career that pays well. Skilled construction people are always in the top 1/3 of wage earners in any economy. So you're going to be doing well, and you're going to be earning early on in your career, which is really important. I'm sure you're going to hear about that from other speakers, but construction is one of those few careers where you can earn while you learn, right? And so you don't have that gap of 4 or 5 or 8 years in university where you're not making money, and then you got to pay off all of that debt. Construction gives you a whole different route. Meanwhile, skilled workers are always in demand, so they're getting paid well and they're in demand, especially if you're willing to be mobile. Sometimes the economy in one spot may be a bit slower. But in the last couple of years, for instance, the economy in British Columbia, the economy in Ontario has been skyrocketing, and so lots of opportunities in construction. And we know that many of those people who were here in Saskatchewan before have moved away, will come back when the economy is strong here too. So skilled construction tradespeople, as I said, always in the top 1/3 of wage earners, always in demand. So it's a career that pays well. That's reason number 1. Reason number 2, it's a career that provides lots of opportunities. First of all, one of the things I want to say, I think is really important, is construction is safe. You know, you can look at this pandemic to see construction was one of those industries that was allowed to keep working. We didn't have any outbreaks on sites, and that's true right across the country, right? So despite people continuing to work, there wasn't a big spread of the virus or anything like that, and that's because construction is used to operating safely. So it's safe. It's a mobile career, as I mentioned earlier. You can literally work anywhere in the world doing what you love to do with the skills you develop training to be a skilled tradesperson. You get to work with new teams on new projects all the time, so you get to stretch your creativity and test your skills. It's also an industry that's really good at recognizing, celebrating, and rewarding people who work hard. If you work hard and you work smart, you're going to be successful in construction. And it's an industry with lots of opportunity for promotion and growth. So you can easily, in your career, go from starting out as a laborer to becoming an apprentice, to being a journey person, to becoming a supervisor, becoming a manager, becoming a company owner. And you can often progress very quickly. So that's reason 2, lots of opportunity. Reason 3, it's a career doing something that really matters. You know, sometimes when people think of essential services, they don't always think about construction. But you know, when this pandemic hit, as I said, the construction industry was allowed to continue to stay open because 1, it could be trusted to work safely, as I talked about. But 2, the work being done by the industry every day is absolutely necessary for our society. Just think about it for a second. Who keeps the lights on and the ventilators powered at our local hospitals? Electricians and others in the construction industry do that. Who keeps the refrigerator systems working at our grocery stores to make sure we can all keep having food to eat? It's our mechanical contractors and others in construction that do that. Who builds and maintains the roads that all of our goods and services or our goods are transported on? It's road builders and others in construction that do that. And who makes sure that our water and wastewater systems are built right and they're working? Again, it's construction that does that. And when it comes to economic recovery, where did the government begin to invest its money into? It did it into infrastructure, it did it into building things. Why? Because they knew that construction was critical for our success. Every single part of our society and our economy depends on what we call the built environment. What that means is the buildings that we live in, that we work in, that we play in, the streets that we drive on, the parks that we enjoy. Every aspect of our life depends on construction. So the work that the 55,000 women and men who work in construction in Saskatchewan do every day really does matter, and it matters to our daily lives and to the daily lives of everybody in the province. So that's one of the reasons I really think, that's the third reason for why I think you should pursue a career in construction, is because the work you do really matters. The last reason, this is a career that literally builds a legacy. For the rest of your life and the lives of your children and your grandchildren, the things that you work on in construction will stand as a testament to the things that you have done, to your contributions and your skills. Think about the workers that helped build the Mosaic Stadium in Regina, or the Pattison Children's Hospital in Saskatoon, right? And the legacy that they have left behind and that will last on for generations. That's one of the best things about construction, I think, is the work that people do. As I said, it matters, but it's literally building things that change our lives and that make our lives better, not just now, but for future generations as well. So I think there's lots of reasons to be excited about potentially pursuing careers in construction. I hope that these 4 have given you some idea of some of the reasons why it excites me. And I'm happy to take any questions if anybody has any, but I just wanted to give sort of that brief overview of some of the biggest reasons why pursuing careers in construction can really lead you to having a meaningful career, a successful career, and one that will, as I said, leave a real legacy.
Awesome. Well, thanks very much for sharing, Mark, and thanks for being with us again today. Folks, if you do have a question, just type her into the Q&A function, and we will address that. And we can always help you get in touch with Mark if you do have any other questions too. And I love the fact that you talk about job satisfaction, right? Because that is so important for any person who's choosing any career, right? And that satisfaction that people can get with a career in construction is really, really important. So again, thanks for sharing, Mark. We really appreciate that. So we're going to keep on rolling. I'm going to turn it over right away to Amy Andrew from the Saskatoon Construction Association. Amy has been integral in putting this event together with the SIEC, so we really thank you, Amy, for that. And we have a group of 4 tradespeople who are going to be sharing their experiences and their knowledge about working in the industries that they do in Saskatchewan. So Amy, I'm going to turn it over to you, and really looking forward to this part of the event.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Aaron. Yeah, thank you very much to our panelists that are coming out today to help us learn about these careers. Now we know why careers in construction are fantastic, so let's actually talk to some people who live this every day. So first off, I'm going to ask each of our panelists to kind of give a little background of who they are, just so that our students today know your history. So maybe if we can start with Allison, can you just give us a little bit about your background?
Hi, I'm Allison Zur. I took the fabricator and welding program. So I started the welding program with the pre-apprenticeship in 2009. It's been a little while. Did that, took the welding. I got my journeyman, a journey person, I guess, in the welding trade. And then right after I got that, I decided it would be a good idea to get my fabricating ticket, which kind of goes hand in hand with welding. So I worked in that industry for 10 years. And now I currently work at Sask Polytech as the program coordinator for the Women in Trades and Technology.
Awesome. Thank you. Craig, how about you next?
I'm Craig Dunlop. I work for Quarks Construction. I've been in the trade for 20 years. Started from labor, worked all the way up to site superintendent, which is what I'm doing now. Currently working at Saskatchewan Heritage Park. So.
Well, and you said you've been at that project for 3 years already, so I can't wait to see when it's finished.
Yeah.
Chad, could you please give us a little bit about your background? I don't think we can hear you, Chad. There we go.
Sorry, apparently my headphones aren't working. Sorry, Chad Lebrook with Alliance Energy. I've been in the trade about 20 years. I'm a journey person electrician. We do commercial and industrial electrical contracting throughout the province. So everything from 1 hour call outs to the Children's Hospital or potash mines, that sort of thing. So yeah, that's my gig.
Awesome, thanks, Chad. And I recently saw Chad and his dad in a magazine, so construction can even make you famous. And Jason, if you could give us a little bit about your background.
Jason with Century Roofing. I've been in the roofing industry for 25 years. Started just like the kids on here now in the summer months as a laborer. Worked myself all the way up as a journey person and into the office, doing estimating, and now I am president of Century Roofing and work that way. So I've also done construction association, sit on that board right now as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to begin my questioning here today with Allison. Allison, can you tell our participants today a little bit about what your journey through the trades looked like?
Well, it certainly didn't start with welding. I took a year of university kind of thing and decided it wasn't for me. So went into the work industry for a bit. And just kind of one day decided, you know, I enjoy school, I want to go back. So I flipped open, which at that time was a SIEC catalog, and just kind of flipped through things I'd done in the past, areas I thought I would enjoy, and decided on welding. Originally, like, I kind of wanted to get into doing the metal art and the more kind of decorative whatever, and decided I need to start somewhere. So I applied for school, went to school, got a job right out of school, working for a company here in Saskatoon. We did a lot of like structural, so I did a lot of work helping build schools, even some decorative, like downtown in a few of the hotels, building handrail, and which might not seem very exciting, but it's kind of cool to walk into nice big hotels and be like, hey, I built that. And it's very rewarding. So I progressed through welding, finished that up. And then, yeah, like I said, I really enjoy it. I enjoy the aspect of more building rather than just the welding. So I went through the metal fabricating program at Sask Poly and finished that. And then I started actually instructing a little bit of casual work with the welding department. And from there, it just opened the door for me to get into the women in trades and technology. So to me, it's kind of cool. Like, I knew for me, I didn't want to be a welder and working in the dirty shop environment for my whole life. And so now I get to take kind of some of my experiences and help other students, and especially women in the trades, and just kind of prove to them that, yeah, just because you're a girl and people tell you you can't do it, you absolutely can. And it can take you so many different places, a career in the trades. So, yeah.
Absolutely. That sort of speaks to Mark's point earlier that there's so much growth that can happen and your career can really go whichever way you want to take it. So thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks.
And one thing I should mention to my panelists, if after the first panelist answers their question, if there's anything you want to add, feel free to chime in. We're here to get experience and insight from you guys who actually work in these careers. So thanks, Allison. My next question is going to be for Craig. Could you describe what you do a little bit as a general contractor and what maybe a typical day or week might look like for you?
Typical day for me is coordinating sub trades, scheduling out tasks for my crew, plus my subcontractors. So there's phone calls, there's emails, there's safety stuff that you have to deal with every day. But yeah, there's a lot of, and coordinating with my guys on site, which could mean coming up with an out of the box way of doing something different that you've never done before, which is always the fun part of being in construction, because it can change day to day, and you get to develop those skills where you have to think out of the box and how to do things. But yeah, no, it's a lot of on the phone and face to face with guys, and working through schedules and tasks.
How many people are you coordinating on a site? The site.
This one that I'm currently on can range anywhere between 40 to 60, 70 guys I have to coordinate with. My crew alone has gone from 4 to 16 alone. So that's tasking them every day and getting jobs for them to do. So.
Wow, that's a lot of problem solving and teamwork, it sounds like.
Yes.
Awesome, thank you. I'm going to move on to Chad next. Chad, can you tell us what some of your favorite and maybe least favorite parts of your job are?
Sure. So I think the favorite part is that everything's always different. Most days aren't the same. I mean, there's always challenges and opportunities that we're working through. So it's not a simple process coordinating a large construction project, or putting a tender together for that, or dealing with HR issues or challenges, or hiring people. There's always something new that we're involved in. So there really is no 2 days alike, which is for me, that's it's a good career path for that, because I get bored if I'm just doing the same thing over and over again. So it's nice in that way. When I was back years ago when I was in the field, I mean, it's the same thing. It seems like there's something new every day. You're not doing the same thing over and over again. So that was always nice. The other thing, Mark kind of touched on it, but it's leaving a mark on society or the community that you live in. Like we can drive by and say, you know what, I was involved in that. I take my kids by the Children's Hospital. We were heavily involved in that project, and I personally was involved for many years on that. So you can actually drive by and point something out that, you know what, there it is. We did that. That was a lot of work, but there's something standing there. It's not just paper shuffling from one side of the desk to the other, or just sending out emails. So there's actually some tangible things.
Awesome. Thanks. And is there anything you might say that you don't like about your career, or something that you think that people are going to have to be aware of before they enter into the trades?
You know, I think, I'm sure there's challenges in every role. I guess for me personally now, it's so I'm the vice president, so I'm in the office all the time. So it's mainly dealing with HR challenges, and especially if you ever have to let somebody go, that's by far the most difficult thing that we do. Luckily, for the most part, the industry's been growing, and we haven't had to deal with that a whole lot. But even if they're not a model employee, it still is keeps you up at night if you have to let somebody go. So that's always a challenge.
Awesome. Thanks. Is there anything that any other panelists want to add to their least favorite or favorite parts of their job?
Well, for me, it's the same as laying guys off. Chris, just 2 weeks before Christmas, I had to lay off my own son. So it's, when things are slow, you got to make choices. And, when you're low man on the totem pole, sometimes that's what it is. But that is definitely one of the harder things to do every day.
And hopefully with the infrastructure spending that the government just announced, that the industry is going to be busy for years to come. So hopefully you guys don't have to deal with that for a while. I guess our next question is for Jason. When you hire people, what do you look for in an employee in terms of education, experience, personality traits?
Yeah, so I guess it kind of comes down to what we're looking for. When we're looking for laborers, you know, like this summer students, summer program, stuff like this, having a nice, strong, young kid working for us, or you know, some people think when you look at the roofing industry, it's just you know, tearing off shingles and slapping down some shingles. We deal with the commercial side of things, so it's a lot more commercial and industrial roofing where it's a lot more physical labor, tearing off a lot of flat roofing, and then compositions of installing back in there. So you got to be able to work safely, because obviously you're going to be at heights. So we look to make sure, you know, you have some sort of a safety background, and then we obviously have our own programs we put you through for fall rest and stuff like that, and just all around good work ethic when it comes down to laborers. And we start looking at apprentices. You know, you're making sure they have the grade 12 or higher, years of experience, some job experience, knowledge of different systems. We have various different systems that we install with different applications in each one of those. So making sure they have the knowledge of what they're doing and how to deal with their peers and other trades at the same time. And then when we're looking for a journey person, and making sure they have their tickets, again, the same job experience, being able to, you know, communicate with mechanical and electrical contractors, deal with general contractors, keep communication back and forth with them, being able to plan a site, set up, staging areas, things like that. And then, yeah, you get into more of the office staff side of it. So you're looking for estimators, stuff like that. You're going to be, you know, we look for guys that have different programs, a little bit of skills in the math. And then again, communication skills is huge, right from the bottom up. And just an all around good work ethic. Right? Just kind of what I look for.
Awesome, thank you. Is there anything that any other panelists want to add to that?
Yeah, I could. I'd say the most important thing we look at, I mean, there's a bunch of things, I guess, but really your attitude and how you carry yourself coming into any kind of interview is critical. So they're important steps, and just showing that you're positive and willing to learn. We know that, especially when you're just starting out, as you folks will be, that you can't possibly have the skills yet, but you can bring a good attitude and work ethic, and make sure you're get there before work's supposed to start and be ready to actually work and give an honest day. We can teach you, but we can't fix your attitude. So if you have a good attitude and good outlook, we can teach you the skills.
That's a really good point. So I guess for all of my panelists, is there one piece of advice that you would give students trying to enter the trades? You could just give them one piece. Maybe we'll start with Allison.
Well, for me, I guess I would probably say, like, always keep learning. You know, whether you're starting off in the trade or whether you've been in the trade for 10 years, 15, 20 years, whatever, like technology advances, everything changes, and you're going to have to learn new skills, and you're going to have to learn how to run new software and whatever. So just kind of keep that open mind, like, and just, yeah, keep learning, I guess.
Craig, what about you?
I kind of agree with Allison. That's a big thing is things change rapidly in the construction industry. So you have to be hungry to learn new stuff. I have guys that they are very complacent in staying in a labor position and don't want responsibility or anything like that. But if you want to grow and learn in the trade, you have to be hungry and want to get that extra little bit. Just looking online, it's like, well, I just saw this way of doing something. Would you, can we do something like that? And sometimes there's the opportunity to do stuff like that. So it's for my thing, for me, it's like I'm always say to the guys, it's like, I may be in charge, but I don't always have the best ideas. So, and if it's presenting those ideas, and if they're viable, then, let's give her a go. So that's one of my things.
Awesome. Thank you. Chad, is there anything that you'd like to add to this?
I agree with everything that's said. Like I said before, I think the most important thing is just have a good attitude, and there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of different options in the trades in general. So have a look around and find out what you're actually going to be passionate about, what you're going to want to do for a long period of time, because you want to enjoy what you're doing. So make sure you kind of explore what each trade does, and it's definitely a great career option. There's lots of opportunities here. I mean, you can see from the people on here, you can start literally with a shovel in your hand and be the CEO of the company one day. It just depends on how you want it to end up and how you want your career to look. So,
awesome. Thanks. And Jason, any last advice that you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think everybody's really touched up on it really well. I think the biggest thing that we say is just the drive and communication. I mean, asking questions is always key. And if you don't know and you want to understand, asking questions is always one of the best ways to get the right answer. So don't be scared to do that. And yeah, just work hard and try your best.
Thank you. I'm going to add one more question. This one's specifically for Allison. People often say that construction isn't a typical career for a female, but I know a ton of females that work in the industry and absolutely love it. Could you provide any advice or insight on why female students should consider careers in construction and not be afraid of it?
Well, man, you're picking on me today. No, it's good. I feel like, to me, I grew up with the boys. It was never something I worried about. But I mean, like, I hear so often from people from industry, they say, like, especially welding in particular, they say, oh, well, we have all these guys in the shop, but these girls, we actually like the girls the best. And, they're a little more attentive to detail. And I think it's just kind of been a bad stereotype that, like, the construction jobs have been more grunt work and, more a man's job, but it's not that at all. It's just, if you have that work with your hands, that problem solving mindset, like, it's so rewarding. It builds confidence like crazy. Like, I mean, through our WIT program, we offer exploratory workshops, and just to see the girls come through there and try out the different trades, they get to try carpentry and plumbing, and to see them at the end of the day, like, with huge smiles on their face and be like, oh my goodness, like, I didn't know I could, install a sink, or we could build a shed and whatever. Like, it's very rewarding. It's very, I don't know, it's great. But it's also, I feel like, I mean, kudos to the women who came before us. Like, I look at, my mentors and women who are older than me that have been in the trades, and they put up with a lot of unfair treatment, and they did it all so that our generations and the generations that are coming through the trades, it'll be easier for them. And it is. And industry is changing. Like, women are getting more into the trades because we know we can do it. And it's the more women who get involved and help each other out, by being mentors and learning from women in the past, like, it's becoming more of a norm.
Yeah, I don't think it shouldn't be seen as a traditionally male career anymore, because there are so many women entering the industry, and there's only going to be more opportunities with retirements and needing to fill those positions. So thank you very much for that. Those are all my questions, but I think either Aaron, Megan, you guys have some questions that have been submitted by students.
Well, I saw we did have a question about more information about the female perspective of getting into the trade. So thank you for asking that, Amy and Allison. Thank you for that excellent answer too. Megan, did you see anything? Do you have anything?
I have one, because this is probably the top question that we get, and nobody was brave enough really to ask it. Wages. What kind of money can the kids expect to make in the industry? Because they always want to know about the money. It all comes down to the money. So if anybody has any insight on what they can expect, please share it.
I would say that it's a very well-paid career. All the different trades are. I went to university. A lot of people in the trades have. I don't think the wages are any lower than most jobs out there, and it really depends on what you want to be, right? If you have drive and you're passionate about doing this, and you go into whichever trade you want to go in, depending on how far you want to take it. I mean, there's no limit. You can have your own company and work as hard as you can, and literally become a major company in the province and make as much money as you possibly can. I mean, journey people in electrical, you're probably in the 80,000 a year range, kind of 90 to 100 if you move up, and some superintendents would be over 100,000. So obviously apprentices start lower than that, but it quickly progresses through.
And then I have one more. If the kid or a student is not sure of what trade they want to get into, what do you recommend they do to try and figure that out? So maybe I'll direct that towards Craig.
Well, coming to like my construction site, you would see electricians, plumbers, drywallers, roofing guys. You kind of get to see what everyone's doing, kind of get a very round site, I guess, of what goes on in a general day on a job site. So, you know, starting I like when I started out, I started in a smaller company. So I got to do a lot of different things, where some of the larger companies, it gets subbed out to other smaller companies. So that's always an option. I always say, guys, that, you know, with the smaller company, it doesn't mean that you're going to make tons of money doing it, but you get the education, where some of the larger companies, you're kind of more focused on one part, construction or concrete or finishing or whatever. So
That's great. Thanks for that. We did have one more question come in, so I think we'll just address this one, and then maybe we'll get moving to our other presenters. But Jason, I might address this one to you, and then other people can chime in if they'd like. So we had a question: are there certain skills or experiences that students should include on their resume or bring up in a job interview?
Yeah, I think, I mean, if you have any certain skills and stuff, it's definitely important to make sure you can bring those forward. As for special ones, I mean, when it comes to at this age, it's more of just letting them know that you're able to advance, I think, is the biggest thing, and being able to have that communication skills. I think those are probably one of the better things. If you have, you know, the safety side of it, that's definitely always going to be, you know, the witnesses. You know, fall arrest is pretty key, I think, for almost every trade. Stuff like that. I think the safety side of it would definitely be key for the construction side.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, Allison, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can I just add a quick comment to Megan's question she had there about being unsure of the trade? I just wanted to add, like, specifically, if you're a female who's unsure of a trade, but you're interested in going into a trade, one of the courses that we offer through our WIT program is an exploratory workshop. So it's 4 weeks. It gives you 8 different trades. So you get to you get to do a day of welding, metal fab, carpentry, plumbing. You do automotive, auto body, machining. Like there's a couple more. But you get 8 different days trying that trade. So it kind of gives you a little more of an idea of what may interest you if you are interested in the trades, just not sure which one. So just wanted to add that, sorry.
No, that's awesome. Thank you very much, Allison. Amy, anything else we want to add?
I think that's all I've got listed for questions that have been sent in to me. So thank you guys very much for your time and your insight. Thanks again.
Awesome. Yeah. And I definitely want to thank everybody, all our panelists and Amy as well. One of the things I always say about our spotlights is that it's so great to see, especially for our students who are here, to see that there are these adults in the community who are willing to share their knowledge and willing to help them out. There are people who are willing to help you get your career started. And I love the messages of being willing to learn and gaining that confidence as you go through. And I mentioned before about how practicing a job interview is important. So just working on those skills and developing those skills is really important, and people are willing to help you with that. So thanks to these people for giving up their time today to meet with us and to speak with these students. So Craig, Chad, Allison, Jason, thanks very much. Awesome. We got a thumbs up in there, I saw, so that's good. Awesome. So folks, we are going to move on to a few presentations that we have. So again, we're going to get some information on safety. We're going to hear about some programs and applying to Sask Polytech. We're going to hear about the Youth Apprenticeship Program, and then finally about our Summer Youth Internship Program at the SIEC. So we're very happy to have Mike Moore joining us today from the Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association. So Mike, thanks for coming here today, and I'm going to turn it over to you for the next few minutes to share some information with our attendees.
Thanks, Aaron. I've typically taken part in these, I've taken part, I think, in 2 of these spotlights with Megan and some of the other people. This kind of avenue, or this kind of event that you're holding today, thank you so much for putting it together and stuff like this. The trades are my happy place. So like Aaron said, my name is Mike Moore. I work with the Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I don't want to take up too much time because I know we have other presentations to do. For all the young people that are watching this, the idea of getting into the trades may be something that we don't understand, or it may be something that we're looking at for a summer job or something like that. But in the end, the amount of satisfaction that I've got out of construction, and I wasn't born to work with my hands. I learned how to do that. My uncle called me, and when I got out of grade 12, I graduated. And my uncle in Alberta called me and said, "Hey, Mike, do you want a job in Alberta?" And I said, "You know, if it pays over $10 an hour, sure." And I knew I had no experience at the time. And this is 1996. I know I look like I'm 21 and a half years old, but and I said, if it pays over 10, and you know, my uncle said it pays $16 an hour. You start Monday. So I took my McDonald's uniform and I folded it up or did something with it, can't remember. And then I went to Alberta like 2 days later and started pipelining. You know, a lot of good things were said by some of the panelists today about the experience that we get, and the idea of having a positive attitude as being some of that. And today, let me tell you, the most joys in my life are the things that I've been able to build. And like, for example, my shop that I'm sitting in right now working from home is my dream shop. I've been at it for many years. I have a lake property that I took from a piece of land, and I've kind of homesteaded out there. And all of this information, all this stuff was learned in construction. Enough about me. The SCSA is here to support the construction industry. We're designed basically as a service for the industry to have when it comes to safety. So our members are comprised of all construction employers. Any employer that goes to WCB and says, "Hey, I have a plumbing outfit or a drywall company or electrical company or construction company," they get put into a WCB category, and they pay their WCB premiums, which is insurance for anyone that has an incident or gets hurt on the job site or whatever. And part of those premiums feeds the SCSA and other safety associations for other industries, and helps to keep the lights on so we can offer things to our members like training. A one-day fall protection course or confined space course is $50 for our members for a full day course. And sometimes we offer those courses in Prince Albert, Swift Current, all around Saskatchewan and remote areas, and it still costs employers a very affordable price because they're already paying into our association. Other things we have are such things as we facilitate the CORE program or C-CORE program, which is for companies to establish a safety program and get recognized for that program. We also train people in being safety professionals. I'm a journeyman welder as well, so it's nice to see welders heavily represented on the panel. I got into safety and I looked around at where can I get training, and Sask Poly has an excellent program, the practitioner program. The SCSA also offers a NCSO program or HSA program to train people in safety so they can work as safety professionals. If anyone out there, maybe some of the high school students have done the SCOT program, SCOT training, and it gives you your WMIS, and we facilitate the SCOT program for you as well. We have advisory services, and if any of you guys have a pen and you're wondering, hey, like, how do I get a hold of Mike? Like, absolutely get a hold of me. If you want to talk about safety, you want to talk about avenues of, so you got to get on a construction site and you're going to need some safety training and stuff like that. Give me a call, or give anyone at the SCSA a call. Call and talk to an advisor. My email address is mike.m@scsaonline.ca. Send me an email. We can chat. If you're going to be working for a construction company and you're going to be going out there and you need some safety training ahead of time, maybe it's a family friend that owns a company. A lot of our training you can be sponsored, so that as a non-member or as someone coming in that doesn't work for a construction company, but someone has a construction company that has the idea of hiring you in the end, we can actually get you so that that company is sponsoring you, which means you can get a deal on your training in anticipation of going to work for that employer afterwards. The SIEC, I know you guys have a lot of programs to get safety training in place as well, so good on you. Take whatever avenue you can as a student, get that safety training. When you show up on site, what you can anticipate is you're going to go through some orientations. You're going to get hired by an employer. They're going to give you an orientation for that employer, and they're going to talk about safety, 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 right? Because it's important. We work in a hazardous industry in construction, but it doesn't mean that people are going to go home hurt. That's the point. So just like Mark was talking about the COVID situation and construction sites being actually safe and working through this pandemic, this is an industry that is essential. This is an industry that is safe as long as we have the proper things in place. You're going to go through a site orientation. You're going to go on some of these people's sites. You're going to have an orientation on site. Now you're going to have some of these superintendents that are going to say, okay, now that you're on our site, here's some things you have to keep in mind. Safety, 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 right? And so that we go to work, we go home safely. As a worker, you have 3 rights. Your 3 rights are your right to know, and that's the right to know about any hazards on the work site, the right to know about how to, if you're asked to drive a piece of equipment, like, you got to know how to drive it. Like, you can't just be jumping on things. So you have a right for training. You have a right for understanding the job. If you have questions, a lot of this is going to put on your shoulders. You have to ask those questions. And in the end, you do have a right to understand the job so you can do it safely. Another one of your rights is your right to participate. Anyone that's worked in construction understands the idea of a hazard assessment. You have the right to recognize hazards in your workplace and be part of the control strategies, or at least understand the control strategies put in place. So participate in your safety. And the third right that you have as a worker is the right to refuse unusually dangerous work. Super important for young and inexperienced workers is to understand the idea that an employer may want you to do a job, but if you can't do it safely or you don't understand it enough to do it safely, asking those questions and actually saying, you know what, I don't want to do this job because I don't understand a piece of this, or I'm not trained, or I can't get on that roof because I don't have fall protection, is absolutely something that you should get patted on the back for, and your superintendents and your bosses should be thanking you for, so you don't get yourself in a situation that could get you injured or hurt. Ask questions. I think that in the end, I'll just close with that. It will be your responsibility to try to keep a good attitude, but mainly to ask questions so that you understand. People don't necessarily explain things fully. You need to understand what you need to do, and that'll be your responsibility. So I welcome you guys into construction. I hope you all have good luck finding construction jobs this summer and long careers in it if that's what you choose. Thanks.
Mike, thanks so much for being here today. To the students here, I think again, it's just so good to know that there are these organizations and these people in the community who are there to support you and help you out. And Mike and the CSA are certainly one of those organizations. So Mike mentioned his email address. If you didn't quite catch it, definitely drop me a line, and I can get you in touch with Mike and the SCSA afterwards. So thanks again, Mike. Right on. So I mentioned before that on Spotlights, we love giving young people information about post-secondary opportunities, and we're very, very happy that Cheryl and Ryan, Cheryl Boys and Ryan Huenga could join us from Sask Polytech to talk about their programming. So Cheryl and Ryan, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thanks for having us. This is a great event. We're happy to be a part of it. I'm going to screen share here, so hopefully we can see a nice little presentation that I have, not this. Oh, hold on here. Already having technical difficulties. Okay, let's try this again.
Well, while Cheryl's doing that, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Ryan Huenga. I am program head of the carpentry program and bricklaying program at Saskatchewan Polytechnic. I manage the construction programs, carpentry, bricklayer at Saskatoon, but I also manage the programs in Prince Albert as well. I'm a carpenter myself, and I've been in the industry for over 20 years. And I started out framing houses in Alberta and moved up into education. So I know a lot of the panelists were talking about different avenues of careers, and mine took a little bit different turn. I was at construction and ended up in education, still in construction and education, but it's a little different route. So yeah. Looks like Cheryl's ready to go.
Yeah, you guys can see my welcome screen here.
I can see I can see the presentation view of it, Cheryl. So not the presenter's view, not the just the slide.
Gotcha.
It just gives us a preview of what's to come, Cheryl. It works.
What the heck's going on here? Oh man. Hold on. Jesus, of course this would happen. Let's try this again. Screen one, share. Okay, it's gonna be popping up soon. I can feel it. Well, I'll introduce myself while this is going up as well. I'm Cheryl Boys, Student Recruitment Officer at Saskatchewan Polytechnic. So I don't represent just one of our campuses. I actually travel to majority of the high schools in Saskatchewan, talking to high school students like yourself that are interested in getting into post-secondary. So we are your post-secondary option here for getting into a lot of these different trades here. So again, I don't know if this is working or not, but shoot. Sorry guys, I'm gonna try this again.
It looks like it's gonna be amazing, Cheryl.
Well, it is. This is, okay, let me just try this again here. Stop share. You know, I've been on a million Zoom calls, and this one's a little different. Well, you guys can see the screen nonetheless, right? The welcome to Sask Polytechnic.
You betcha.
Yep.
Okay, I'm just gonna roll through this. So Saskatchewan Polytechnic, we are located on Treaty 4 and Treaty 6 territories and homelands of the Métis people. Sask Polytechnic, remember, has 4 different campuses that you guys possibly might be going to school to. So we have our Regina, Prince Albert, Saskatoon, and Moose Jaw campuses. So this is going to be important for you for whatever trade that you are looking at getting into, where you're going to be moving to. And if you are coming from a smaller community that isn't one of our 4 main campuses, do recognize that some of the regional colleges across the province carry some of our trade programs. So we're talking today about the pre-employment certificates in the skilled trades. These are the 4 sectors in which you could get into, and today we're focusing on construction. But Sask Polytechnic carries about 20 of the skilled trades in each of these 4 sectors. So just a snapshot of our website. If you go to saskpolytech.ca, this is the screen that you're gonna see, and you'll see there's a ribbon at the top of our programs and courses. So you're gonna be able to browse our programs A to Z. We have over 150 different options for you. And like I said, 20 of those are catered around the skilled trades. So when you click onto a program that you are interested in, this is what you're gonna see. You're gonna see a program overview of what that, what is that program even like, and what are you gonna be learning? And there is information on career and salary information. So we were talking earlier about how much money can you make. So there is some information regarding that. And then as well, the length and start date of your program, where the program is located, and the admission requirements. So admission requirements are going to be very important for you because each of our programs have their own unique set of admission requirements. So I just took a snapshot of our carpentry program, and the admission requirements for that one is a minimum of a grade 11 with a 20 level math. So we're not saying don't get your grade 12 education by any means, but we are just recognizing what the admissions are to get into that program. And you'll also notice there's tuition and fee costs, and as well what courses you would be taking and what kind of student awards can you apply to once you are a registered student. So right now I have our School of Construction slide up, and Ryan's going to speak more to each of these programs at our school.
For sure. Thanks, Cheryl. So I'll kind of give a quick rundown of the different programs that we have in the School of Construction. Number one, a large part of our training is to provide technical training for Saskatchewan Apprenticeship. And so we are one of the largest, the largest in the province for technical training for apprenticeship programs. So the majority of these programs and the trade programs that are listed here, we would have in many of the 4 campuses, we would have some of these trades represented that we train. Some of these we also provide certificate and applied certificate programs. So a certificate program is somewhere around, say, 30 to 34 weeks long, and an applied certificate's a little bit shorter, somewhere between 16 and 22 weeks, depending on the program. So for example, carpentry, we do apprenticeship training for Saskatchewan Apprenticeship, but we also have a certificate program in Moose Jaw and in Prince Albert, which is a 30-week program. And we also have a applied certificate in Saskatoon that runs, it's not always running, but it runs often. And listed there, I won't go through them all, but we also have listed Bachelor of Construction and Architectural Technology programs. That's a degree program and a diploma program in architectural technology. So lots of options there. Not all of these programs have a certificate or a pre-employment option. But if you take a look at the link below, saskpolytech.ca/construction, you can go and see which programs have certificate or pre-employment programs and which programs are in which campus. I know we have room and we still have seats available in Prince Albert Carpentry, but some other places have filled up. So one last thing I'll say about this is one of the things that we really highlight in our programs is to do hands-on training. We want to get you in the shop, building and working on projects that are as close to you would do in the industry. So we have all the same tools, we work on similar projects, but we do it in a shop, and so we want to train for what industry needs. Okay. And Cheryl, let's move on there.
Yeah. All right. And as Allison was mentioning previously from our panelists, Sask Polytechnic does have the WIT program. So if you are a woman in trades and technology, you have access as a student and even an alumni to these women, or maybe if you eventually want to become a mentor yourself. So a way for you to connect with females in that profession and just really addressing any barriers that you might be, you know, that might be happening and limiting your success. But yes, the WIT program is amazing, and you can find more on our website. So just briefly here, the goal in any trade, most trades, or an individual would want is to become a journey person in their desired trade. And there's you know, a way that that has to happen, right? So of course you're going to go through apprenticeship, and you have to be an apprentice and employed full-time in the industry, working under the supervision of a journey person. And you're also going to have to complete minimum trade time, hours on the job, technical training before you can write that journey person exam. And I wanted to give a little diagram of what that looks like. And if I was in presenter mode, this would work better. But if you look at the bottom here, this individual here, you can come to Sask Polytechnic and take that pre-employment certificate. So this pre-employment certificate is really just giving you the basic skills and knowledge of that trade so that you're able to find a job afterwards. And it does show commitment to the employer, to the trade by taking this course. So if you go over right to the one yellow arrow, after you finish your certificate, you're going to want to find a job with your employer. And to become an apprentice and to be indentured as an apprentice, you're going to sign off on a 3-way contract between yourself, the employer, and Sask Apprenticeship Trade and Certification Commission. And then after that, your apprenticeship is typically can be anywhere from 1 to 4 years. Each year consists of 10 months of working on the job. And we call that earn while you learn. And then 2 months of technical training at Sask Polytechnic. So every time you advance another year, I believe your wage goes up a little bit as well. You have more training, etc. But you do have to complete those minimum years to eventually write that journey person exam. And I will mention that if you did come to Sask Polytechnic first and take the pre-employment certificate, you will get credit for the technical levels and training that you took once you enter into apprenticeship. The other option is lots of times I'm talking to students who have a dad or an uncle or an auntie who owns their own business and they are a certified journey person in the trade that you're interested in. If that's the case and they're willing to hire you and register you as an apprentice to be indentured, you can bypass the pre-employment certificate altogether and just go that route. So that's what the blue arrows indicate, is that you can just sign off on a contract right away if you decide to bypass the pre-employment phase.
And I'll just jump in on something there, Cheryl. So our curriculum in the pre-employment programs and the apprenticeship programs are the same. So you're getting the same, each route is, you want to reach the same goal, and our curriculum is the same. In the pre-employment program, it's stretched out because individuals may not have any experience. So we give a little bit of longer time for that learning. But you learn the exact same thing in the certificate program as you would in levels 1 and 2. In carpentry, for example, you learn the exact same curriculum, you write the exact same exams, and do the exact same projects on that. So
perfect. Excellent. So if you are considering applying into one of our programs and you meet the qualifications for that program, first qualified, first admitted. So there's no application deadline. The sooner you apply, considering you meet the admission requirements, you should be applying because seats do fill up fast. We have a certain number of seats per program. If by chance you apply and you're put on a wait list, you're on the wait list for the intake of that program. But hopefully you get in, you get a seat. So again, I always say to students on their first day of grade 12, this is the best time to apply, your first day of grade 12, because you don't have to finish the program prior to, you just have to apply and then obviously get a written letter from your guidance counselor that you are completing the requirements for the program that you're applying into. Applications are $75 online. So do make sure that when you are applying, you're having your official high school transcript sent to us from the Ministry of Education. And then from there, stay in touch because you're going to receive a letter in the mail with your own unique 9-digit student ID number. So you can log into the My Sask Polytech portal and see what the status is on your application. Because if you are accepted, seed deposits are due within 30 days of acceptance, and that's at $600. And that $600 goes towards your tuition. If you fall under any of these three categories, do mark it off on your application for education equity seating. Thank you again. And here's a snapshot of Ryan and mine's information. If you want to get in contact with us, we'd be happy to help you out.
Awesome. So to the students again, here are two fantastic people to contact if you'd like some more information about your post-secondary options there. Cheryl, we did have a question of whether there's any indication of what the fall is going to look like. It's all up in the air for everybody, right, these days, but any indication of how programs are going to look in the fall at Sask Poly?
Good question. I will recommend if you go to saskpolytech.ca, at the very top of our webpage, we have all of our updates regarding COVID-19. The plan is, I believe, we're still accepting applicants as if, if this is still going on. Of course, we will have to adjust as we see fit and as things happen with what our chief medical officer is telling us. And Brian, I don't know if you have any other things you want to add.
Yeah, so we do know that it's not going to be business as usual come September. So we do know that we're not just going to open up the campuses and have, hundreds of people flooding in September. So we are coming up with plans. Now, we don't have a crystal ball and we don't know what it's going to look like in September. Things change so very rapidly. But the indication is that if it's something, a theory that can be taught remotely, that we'll be teaching that remotely. So whether that's kind of an online, or even a Zoom session like we have right here, which is what we had to do in the spring on short notice. We have to do lecturing over Zoom. So we don't know exactly. We're making plans for a lot of different scenarios, but right now we are planning hard for the chance that we're going to be teaching our theory remotely, and with the hope that we will be able to get students to still come in small groups into the shop to do the shop projects, especially in our trade and carpentry, for example. It doesn't really make sense to teach carpenters how to do their job over Zoom, right? You want to be able to touch the tools, use the tools. You have to be able to use the tools. So we are making kind of plans for that to be able to still bring in groups. But yeah, we can't say definitively right now what's going to happen. But we are still planning to start September, and we are still taking applications. So
awesome.
Hope that answers the question.
You bet. Yeah. Thanks very much for that, Cheryl and Ryan, and thanks for sharing that awesome information. I know that Sask Polytech website is an awesome resource of information, and now we have contact information for both these people too for our students who might be interested. So again, thanks very much. So we've got two more speakers that we're going to focus on today. So Samantha Kitzel from the Saskatchewan Youth Apprenticeship Program is here to talk. So Samantha, I'm going to hand this over to you. Now, Samantha can't share her screen. So Sam, would you like me to pull up the website and show that? Would that help?
Yeah, I should be
able
you
got
to
that. Hey.
I just don't have a face camera or anything like that. So.
Oh, okay, perfect. Well, I'll turn it over to you then.
Sounds great. And everyone can see my screen right now, right?
You bet, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to double check. I got two monitors going on, so sometimes it pulls up the wrong monitor, and I ended up going like halfway through a presentation the other day and no one could see what I was doing. So just wanted to double check that. But my name is Samantha, and I work for Saskatchewan Apprenticeship as the Saskatchewan Youth Apprenticeship Consultant. And under normal circumstances, my job typically entails traveling out to high schools, giving students information about the skilled trades as well as the SYA program. And at the end of the presentation, I will link to our website, our YouTube page actually. My full hour-long presentation has been uploaded there. So if you want that background knowledge about what apprenticeship is all about, what maybe some terms that people have been saying today have been confusing to you, and you just want to revamp about a refresh of what the education process from start to finish entails, I'll link that at the end. And it also goes over things like wages. And so that's coming right from the SATCC's website, and some different stats about things like that, that everything's been time-stamped in the description. So feel free to use that as a resource to kind of follow up on if you want some additional resource. But today I'm going to be specifically just talking about SYA in a very short 5-minute segment. And so we have something called the SYA program, which is something that students can take in high school to benefit their apprenticeship after they actually register upon graduation. And so what it is a program, takes about 10 hours on average to complete is what they typically say. Anytime between grades 10 and 12 is when you can register. And it's 12 challenges that you can work through that ultimately just prime you and get you ready for your apprenticeship. So you actually kind of know what you're getting yourself into before you register after high school. Now, in exchange for doing that extra work, it gives you about 3 things as a benefit. So it's kind of an investment towards the future. Do a little bit of extra work now for some added incentives later. And those 3 things are, number 1, you have to register and pay a fee when you become an apprentice. That fee is completely waived if you finish this program. So $200, it stays in your pocket instead of going to the SATCC. Very similarly, the first time when you sit with your butt in a chair at Sask Polytech for your 8 weeks of technical training, and that's if you're being indentured right away. So that wouldn't cover like the full cost if you were doing a pre-employment course from Sask Poly. But if you were indentured, you're doing your 85% as an apprentice, and you do about 15% of your education in a desk at Sask Poly. If you're doing a system like that, that about $840 that you pay in tuition each year is also free. And so we're up to over $1,000 you save through going through this program. Last but not least, 300 hours of trade time credit are credited to you day one on the job in your name, tucked away in your back pocket when you start your job as an apprentice. And so it's a pretty decent trade-off for 10 hours of work is what I like to tell students. And I know that you're already very busy as a student, you got lots on your plate. The challenges though, however, are not very difficult. And I won't go through these in detail just because again, I am under some time constraints here. But the thing I will point out is some things like you see PAA credit is on there twice in level 1 and level 2. Every student in Saskatchewan automatically completes 2 PAA credits just to graduate high school and get your grade 12 diploma. So that's nothing additional you need to seek out. It's already just built into your course program as a student. And so you can see a lot of things on here like creating a portfolio and attending a career fair. You're already going to do these things by default just by going through a normal course load as a high school student. And so the 10 hours that they say it takes to complete these 12 challenges might be even less depending on what you've already completed as a part of your high school education. Now, to get registered, you can register right on our website. The beauty of our program is it's already kind of an independent study by nature, and so nothing's really changed in light of the recent events with COVID-19. You can still register at any time online. It's just a little PDF document that you fill out, send it to our consultant, and they'll be able to help you out. From there, we give you a booklet with 12 challenges in it. And it's a little, I want to say like 10-page document that you work through at your own pace. From there, I tell students, balls in your court. You can shove that booklet into your binder, forget about it until the day you graduate, or you can do something about it. Say, you know what, this is really important to me. I'm taking on this initiative, and you can get those benefits by the time you're walking the stage at grad. From there, once you're done, we'll issue you a certificate of completion. It literally looks like a little golden ticket with your name on it that basically entitles you to those 3 benefits: the 300 hours, waived registration, and waived first level of technical training tuition. From there, you graduate high school, first day on the job, like I said, 300 hours tucked away in your back pocket. There's also a scholarship opportunity. So very briefly, $1,000 is what we give to a bunch of different high schools across the province each year. That is stacked on top of the other benefits that you get by default. So just worth mentioning, make sure you know that that exists because it's out there. We like to see that money go into as many students as possible. That is it. That is extremely brief. And again, I'll link that is the link to the full presentation with all of the information in it about what apprenticeship is all about and our different resources. Our website has all that different information as well, and how to get started and things like that. And I'll maybe just include my email as well in the chat for the meeting, so that if anyone has any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to me at any time. That's what I'm paid to do, so please use me as a resource as well. Other than that, that is what I got for you.
Perfect. Sam, thanks so much for being here today and sharing this information. We always say at the SIEC that this, you know, if any student is thinking, even there's a remote, like 1% chance that they're going to get involved in the trade somehow, taking advantage of this opportunity with SYA is fantastic. And I think Sam's being a little modest, saying that there are some pretty decent benefits to this program. They are very decent. And definitely something that students should look into. And for those students who are already involved with the SYA program and maybe finishing this, definitely talk to your teacher that you're working with to see how this event right now could be used as check on one of those challenges for sure. Also, I'll mention again that we can also offer support through the SIEC website for students who are interested in this program. So you can contact Samantha, contact us. We'll be happy to help you out. Speaking of that program, I'm going to hand it over now to Megan Unruh from our SIEC office, and Megan is going to talk to us a little bit about our SYIP program. And Megan, I'll try to pull up that old SYIP slide for you too, so we can check that out, okay? So
Okay, awesome.
Megan,
Thanks, Aaron.
you bet.
Okay.
Oh, I'm just going to back it up for you. Look at all these great programs. There you go.
Okay, so the Summer Youth Internship Program is a 6-week paid internship program that we run for students mostly in grade 11 and grade 12 who feel like they want to get into the trades. So for example, you guys are here today, they've told you all this information and you're like, what the heck do I do with it? What do I do? Where do I go? Help me out, figure my life, change my life. So that's what we're gonna do. So the SYP offers you guys the chance to gain some experience in the trades. This year's program runs from July 6th till August 14th. You earn very competitive wages. They range anywhere from minimum wage to, I believe last year, the highest paying job was $19.88 an hour. So as a high school student, that's a pretty awesome wage to make. You can also earn high school credits. So for every 100 hours that you work in this trade, we will give you 1 high school credit for a maximum of 4 credits. So I've had kids who come in and crush 400 hours in the summer and they earn 4 high school credits, and that is 4 less courses that they have to take in school. You get free safety training. So when Mike was talking about all that training at the SCSA and you have to pay $50 and he recommends this training before you go on the job site, we will cover those costs for you. So it is absolutely no cost to you guys. And if you want to take it prior to the SYP starting, you can go to our Safety at Work program. And again, those costs are covered and it looks great on a resume if you guys want to apply for a job. And also all the hours that you earn in the summer go towards your apprenticeship hours. So what Sam was talking about, the SYA, you also complete that with us in the summer. So you get 300 hours from there. And let's say, for example, that you work 350 hours during the summer on the job site, you already have 650 hours towards your first year of apprenticeship, which is awesome. So it's also very beneficial for that. And then for scholarships, we have multiple scholarships that we give out. We are lucky enough to get one of the industry scholarships from the apprenticeship board, and we give that out to a grade 12 student who is entering the trades. And then we also have additional scholarships for top grade 11 and top grade 12 in the program. And those are decided by myself and our summer staff, and we kind of fight it out and see which one gets the scholarship. So now you've heard all of this and I've whet your appetite. You're like, how do I apply for this awesome program? Well, you go to our website, saskatooniec.ca/SYIP, and all the application information is there. The deadline is this coming Tuesday, May 26th, and you fill out the application. And in the application, we ask for your top trades that you would like to get into. You tell me that, and then I go out and recruit companies who are willing to take on students for the summer. And we set you guys up with interviews with these companies. So I always tell kids, I'll get you the interview, but I won't get you the job. So you have to work on your resume, you have to work on your interview skills, and when you get in there to do that interview, you're gonna crush it, and they're gonna tell me at the end which is their favorite student, and then I will offer you the job on behalf of that company. and then you go to work. You go to work for those 6 weeks, you gain all the knowledge and experience you can get, and then at the end, if they like you and it's worked out, then hopefully they'll keep you on, and you guys can go through the apprenticeship program being indentured by that company. So I always like to say, if you like money, if you like the trades, and you need some high school credits, this is the program for you. So again, I believe at the beginning, Erin had our contact info, but if you just go to our website, all the information regarding the SYP is there.
Definitely, yeah, and I'll flash that up in a minute again, Megan.
Awesome.
Thanks for sharing all that. And folks, if there are any questions just about anything that you've seen today, please type them into the Q&A. And students, I've got one little task for you at the end too, so just bear with me when we get there. Just a good reminder here as I go through my slideshow of all those great SIEC programs, and there's our contact. I definitely just want to take a moment to thank all the people who have helped us out again today to put this event together. We definitely went over our time that we expected, but I hope that everyone here found the information very valuable. And again, all of these adults are willing to help out students, and if teachers have questions too, to help guide their students. There's a lot of people here and who are willing to help with any questions that you definitely might have. And for our students, I've just got 2 questions for you here, and I'd just like to know how you felt about today's webinar. And so if you get a chance to just click on how you felt about either of those. Oh, I'm seeing good responses so far. That's great. This will help us out definitely. This is definitely something new to us, doing an online spotlight. So we're very happy that you were part of this first experience, and your feedback will help us out with future experiences too. All things are looking good, SIEC team. That's great. Well, we really appreciate that. And I will check out, I just see that we actually don't have any questions. So, folks, again, I just want to thank you very much for being a part of this. Amy, thanks for your help, and to all of our presenters for taking time out of their day to help these students to learn about the trades in Saskatchewan. We really appreciate it, and we hope that people are going to go to our saskatooniec.ca website to check out more information or to contact us with any questions. So once again, thank you everybody, and we hope you have a fantastic day, and we hope you stay safe.